Hi guys, and welcome back to the show. Today we're talking Acting 101 with short films, and the true question, to hire real actors or to not hire real actors?
Tell me, why'd you kill the master? Tell me! What? Who told you that? You're lying just to save your life. There's only one way to prove my innocence.
So, this is the question, Dustin.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, what's the big determining factor there?
So, guys, welcome to the show. We have a Dead Nightmare series, which is my zombie series on YouTube, and we've had an awesome splurge in subscribers and viewers, which has been very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
So, welcome to the Dead Nightmare family. But as some of you have seen, our acting is not the best, and we have to just put it that way. I mean,
We've seen a few comments. Okay?
There's been a few, but on the other side though, there's a lot of people who really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been people that have called out Dustin's character, Mike Capel's character.
I mean,
just saying that they've done a really good job just trying to bring certain elements. No doubt. Since these guys are not actors, I mean, they have daytime jobs, but they were helping me fulfill one of my dreams, which was to kind of basically create a short series and let's get it out there on YouTube and see how it does.
Yeah.
And we've been having a lot of fun with it, with buying the prosthetics and doing the makeup. Although a big pain in the butt, it still is a lot of fun, and it looks pretty good in the end too.
Yeah.
So I got Dustin on here today just to kind of talk about his experience as we've gone through our different episodes.
Yep.
Because he was a zombie first.
I was a zombie in episode 4, right? Episode 4.
Episode 4.
Which obviously playing a zombie didn't require much.
Mm-hmm.
You had to get the walk down, right? The little kind of the pimp walk, I'll call it. Maybe a few sounds,
like you're
a few
constipated.
motions. But yeah, that was obviously it was fun to get the makeup and the prosthetics on, to see the finished result. It was really crazy for me because you did such a good job, and I know Stephanie was helping that day
she
too.
was.
But when you get everything put on, then you look and you take a picture, you look in the mirror, and it's just like, oh my gosh, wow, that's crazy. And then to see it on camera, even it adds a little bit more because you do the lighting and you get it to look really good and add the effects, and it's just like, oh man,
the music,
that looks awesome.
music's always a piece
too. So the zombie part was cool, and I think that kind of sold me to. I wanted to do more at that point. I wanted to be.
You got the itch.
I had the itch. I wanted to have some speaking parts. I thought it was going to be. Oh, this can't be that hard, right?
Here they come.
Like you just get on camera,
So
feel the
came
scene out.
episode 5. So episode 5, we bring in another set of survivors who are also in this world surviving, and but they are running into one of the other characters who we think we lost. So without spoiling it, go check it out and you'll understand what we're talking about. But all the same, Dustin comes into play here, and one of his first things we had to do, and this is very run and gun. We get there, we get on set, we go through a couple things, and we're like filming immediately.
Yeah.
So it's not like we have like
everybody has schedules and they have to be out of here by this time.
we
so
don't
it's
have
like,
20 days on set with full days. Okay, I gotta be gone by 2. It's like, I mean, you're like, okay, we're gonna try and work it out. And of course, I never work it out because it's impossible. There's no way to do it. I only have these guys for so long. So, but Dustin and one of the other characters, we'll just say, had to do a fight scene.
Yeah.
Okay, and. Go ahead, man.
So what was it? It was probably 9 in the morning.
It was early.
That time.
It was early. Yeah.
We were planning on a pretty full day shoot. We had talked about doing something like this, but we hadn't planned out or choreographed anything.
Okay, we met. We met prior. So we were supposed to have one other party, you know who you are, and it was supposed to meet us over at Dustin's house so we could do some choreography and just kind of see what can we do to like not hurt each other and to try and do this because we don't know what's up. And so the other party that's actually in the film could not make it, and so I had to basically just come because I'm like, well, we need to figure something out. So I came over and Dustin and I were just kind of doing some different movements, just kind of getting an idea of the camera angles and really just kind of talking it out more than anything. So then came shoot day.
It was, oh my God, what was the temperature that day? It was
cold, right?
Cold, 30s,
Yeah,
in the
cold.
30-ish degrees.
Yeah.
I had a huge coat on, I remember. So we're like,
Bundled
the
up.
other character and I are kind of talking through what we want to do. How can we make it look believable? How do we get in that position first of all? And like, how does that kind of go down?
Right.
What would be realistic? And then we're doing this, and as we start, we spent probably, 30, 45 minutes probably, like, doing all the choreography and trying to figure out how we wanted it to go down. But then we start shooting, and, you have to do different takes and different angles.
Multiple takes.
And we obviously couldn't have our coats on, so it was freezing.
Balls cold.
Freezing cold, and not to mention, I keep hitting the other party with my foam weapon.
So
I will say
he has his foam axe, and he's supposed to be knocking this gun out of his hand. So the idea was I want to get a close up of him hitting the wrist, and the gun would fling to the side. Well, and by the way, it's not like I told Dustin, like, said, hey, don't hit his wrist. So Dustin was like, well, because he couldn't tell if the camera, like, is it showing him? But I was so on top of it. So he kept hitting his wrist over and over. So finally, this guy's like, he's like holding his wrist kind of like, and I'm like, are you okay? And he goes, yeah, but Dustin does keep nailing it every time. And I go, oh, Dustin, you don't have to nail it. You just got to get good. And it's like, oh.
So I will say, though, we had an agreement up front. We want to make this look real. We want to make it look believable.
How could you have done this? Jim! I can't believe you committed suicide. I cannot believe you committed suicide. How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide? I can't help you out of this one, Jim.
Go full speed. Don't worry about, obviously don't flat out punch each other. Well, we did that too. Unintentionally, but
at least
make it look
so.
believable. So I was banging on his wrist a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it was close. I mean, this is a contact deal. I mean, and I think even real actors, they're not. I mean, they're used to getting hit sometimes. Sure. I mean, not totally, but it's rough. And so, but they got through it, and I will say, the fight I had a lot of fun.
I was pretty happy with it too, and we went after it, and like there were a couple of times when I was on top, like throwing punches, and I slipped a little bit and hit him, and I was like, oh, sorry.
But it's okay. But it was also after he did it because he just starts busting out laughing. I'm like, what? He goes, I actually got hit on that one.
I just hit him in the head.
But there's also tricks you can do. So remember when you're choreographing your fight scenes, there are tricks you can do where you cut out just single frames here and there to make it look like it's like a faster hit or contact. So I knew all those tricks, but we still had to make it look as good as we could. And I was jumping around these guys, getting different angles, just doing it. But the point being, Dustin and Mike have never shot a fight scene. Maybe they've been in a fight or two, I don't know. But all the same, I mean, you're trying to make this look legit on the camera. And so actions are a lot easier, I think, to do, in my opinion, than words.
Absolutely. And that's a good point. So that was the first thing we did when we got there that day. We shot the fight scene. We got the choreography down. We actually had some dialogue right before that. And it was if you watch the episode, you probably see my that's probably my worst dialogue because it was like the very first.
It was the
very first scene we did. The very first dialogue I had. My wife, God love her, she was trying to help me at home, like get in the role, and she did help me a lot. Because I know the first read-through I did with her, I was like, hey there, la la. And she's like, you sound like a robot. So
you weren't robotic when you finally shot.
Yeah, and she definitely helped me get better. But it was very different than I thought it was going to be.
Excuse me, miss. By the way, what's an all-American girl like you doing with a geek like this? See you around.
Even more different when you see it back on camera because you kind of feel like I think I did okay, and then I watched it and I'm like, those first few scenes were a little rough. I feel like I got a little better, but it is so much harder than I thought.
It is
to make it believable.
And I want to put on that point.
Yeah.
So for all those who are watching, and by the way, thank you if you come on just and watch anyways. And if you did enjoy it, I don't hate you for not. And if you want to leave a negative comment or a dislike, I understand that too. I mean, it wasn't yours, and I expect people want a lot out of what they're going to see on the screen. They want to get that impact and say, oh, that was worth my time.
Yep.
And if it wasn't, then you're going to usually put something negative, right? Sure. But you don't understand that how hard it is, especially for me, an amateur director and screenwriter and everything else, having my also amateur actors and so forth, and we're trying to put this whole thing together. But I tell you what, when you look at how fast and how much we get done in such little time, I think you'd really sit back and be like, I can't believe this turned out even half as good or whatever as it did.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I try not to stay too biased too, because I've seen a lot of crap.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
You are lying. I never hit you. You are tearing me apart, Lisa.
No, I can't. Anyway, how is your sex life?
Chicken, Peter. You just a little chicken.
But I mean, I put a lot of work to make this look as good as it can and give these guys.
I was going to say, I credit you for a lot of it with all the screenwriting, the effects. I mean, you're right. The effects, the music adds a lot to it. If you find the right music,
yes.
The lighting and kind of how you structure the scenes. But I mean, the acting part, it really was much harder than I ever thought it would be. But it was also a lot of fun because I knew after those first few scenes, I'm like, that wasn't my best.
But you warmed up. It
kind of challenges you, and it's like, I know I could do better. I know I could do better.
And see, Dustin, I think, honestly, and that's not just because he's on the show, he is one of our stronger actors on the show, just because I think you're able to get in touch a little bit more with the emotional side and understand, because that's a big part of acting. Like, I definitely have a good idea and tone for the emotional side, but you also have to sell.
If you're not feeling it, it's like, it's not going to come through.
And as you went throughout the day, you started more and more just feeling the character and the style. And there's a scene with him and Shannon at the end of the episode that really started kind of just to work out. I'm not saying it was perfect, but the tones felt right. The music was kind of playing in the background. Something tragic had just happened, and it was just kind of working.
And Shannon was
out.
great, and
she did pretty good.
I'm kind of reacting off Shannon for a lot of those scenes too, and she did awesome, and it kind of got me more into the zone. Kind of seeing her get emotional, and it was good.
But I will say, so like Justin and some of the others that are in the show, it's not like I just said, hey, you're going to do this.
Right.
I actually thought about all of these friends or family, whatever, and I thought their styles. I knew about them, and I was like, how could they take on this part of the character? You don't want to take somebody who's extremely, into, fighting and just tough and whatever, and then put them in some kind of geeky side role or whatever, or maybe he's really swayish or was to stay off the side. You have to think about the characters and who you're trying to put into place. So I think yours is working out well. I think Mike's is working out well. We even have one Day, which he's just kind of, I guess, scatterish in nature, but I mean he's just skittish, and he worked out perfectly just for that kind of it wasn't my fault. I didn't mean for it to happen, but it did happen, and maybe it is actually your fault. And
exactly.
It just works out.
And I'm excited to see episode 6 and some of the newer actors coming in, because I think we're going to see some cool stuff there too.
So we got Mike Coldiron coming in as a new character, and he's in the episode, and then we'll see our original crew back. So we have Adam, Jeff, Ryan, and Brett all coming back in. And these guys are super anxious to get back to it too, so we'll be starting to film episode 7 probably this fall, I hope. We're going to get right into some good screenplay. Our themes are starting to mature, I think, a bit. At first it was kind of like, okay, they're traveling here and there, but now the story's kind of building. There's some other elements that are going to come into play in episode 6, which even Dustin knows some about, but not fully.
I want to see it.
So it's going to definitely come together, and I think episode 7 could possibly be one of our best episodes ever. I mean, I'm getting better at making sure things stay in focus with the camera equipment that I have and so forth, and making sure the sound's right and the music and the tones and so forth. And by the way, these guys are learning as we move along too. So before you're so quick to judge at times, just make sure you understand everything that's gone in. And even in the end, you're like, no, I don't care. You guys suck, and that's it. Well, that's cool too. But these guys do a really good job trying to bring you something for free, mind you. It's just free entertainment.
Well, if you do see something that you think could be better, then try to be more constructive. And we're definitely willing to take that and see what we can do.
I try to comment, and I know you.
We're trying to make it as realistic as we can, and do all we can to make a good episode for sure. So
I try to comment on every single person who leaves a comment, usually negative or positive or whatever. But it's when it's constructive. I'm just like one person just today just said, hey, just because they have something, the zombies have stuff on their face. What about their necks? That'll totally ruin a zombie shot. I'm like, I fully agree, and it's something I knew, unfortunately, that I thought I could fix in post, but I didn't. It wasn't able to. It was too tough, and so it pretty much ruined that. All that makeup, all that work, kind of went to the sideline. But we've learned the next one. One of the first things I had, I'm like, nope, color the hell out of this stuff. But we're getting there though. So we hope you're enjoying the series. Definitely come out to see episode 6. It's coming out soon. Dustin will be back in episode 7. Don't you worry. And
I know you guys are missing me, but I will be back.
He's still alive. He's out there. So again, this is the Z-Man Show. Just talking a little bit about acting. Kind of 101, and if you should hire real actors. And I guess that was the question in the beginning. And just to say real quick, so should you hire real actors?
Would you like to fuck me?
Bingo.
You can if you have a budget. We do not. This is a totally side project for me. There are some local schools nearby that I could try and canvas and go to, but now this project's kind of already set in its way, right? So I could get some side talent for little small roles, but these guys are here to stay. So we hope you enjoy it, and yeah, come back out and see you soon.